Some children are born angels, and some children are born straight psychopaths.
You are now listening to The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast hosted by Kay on Spotify. A podcast aimed to uncover and share the stories behind heinous and insane acts that have been overlooked or overshadowed by mainstream media, getting justice for the voices that can't speak.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Kay, and I am the host of The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast. A podcast designed to focus on crimes committed in the Black community that you don't hear about in mainstream media, giving a voice to those victims that have otherwise been silenced. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast with me, Kay, the Texas girl in a Georgia world, baby. Ladies, how y'all feel? Fellas, y'all all right? It is Sunday, July 19th, 2026, and your girl is feeling excited. I got so much stuff coming up, so many things that I'm doing that are in the works. I don't want to jinx myself. So some things I'm kind of keeping under wraps for the time being. But I am just so happy that things are falling into place in every aspect of the word. Like, I did an amazing interview for season five's premiere episode that's going to air next Sunday. My boys are gonna be home in a few more days. And good thing is I'm pumping out these books, baby, okay? Now, it just so happens that my next book signing is August 29th in Atlanta at Nubian Bookstore, located at 1540 South Lake Parkway. So y'all make sure that y'all pull up, get you a book, get it signed by yours truly. I'm just saying. But all in all, things are good. And y'all, we are at the season finale of season four. Like 4 whole seasons. Can y'all believe that? It has been a wild and bumpy ride for sure. There's been some great days, there's been some bad days, there's been some, unsteady days. But we are here at the season finale. And of course, I'm celebrating with a little, something to sip on. Y'all know I gotta ask, right? What y'all sipping on? Now tonight I'm doing something simple. It's like a Moscato champagne, but it's really good. I made me some pot roast with some mac and cheese and some candy yams for dinner. So I'm over here, unbigging my back or whatever. Well, was supposed to be unbigging my back, but it's more big than ever. I'm big back today. I don't care. So I hope that y'all are ready for a great episode. So let's get into it. Hop on in and buckle up because we are taking a ride back to 1999 in Birmingham, Alabama. TLC made sure we stayed away from them scrubs. Michael Clark Duncan brought us to tears in the Green Mile. The Y2K scare had everyone thinking the world was going to end like right at midnight, which was crazy. Brandy came through with her hit, Have You Ever? Malcolm Lee created one of the best movies with the best man, child, nothing but yumminess with Morris Chestnut, Tay Diggs, and Terrence Howard. Shoot, I low-key was crushing on merch too. Destiny's Child had these brothers out here paying bills, bills, bills. And Jordan retired from the Bulls and the NBA. And in Birmingham, Alabama, two teenagers couldn't be without each other and decided to kill everyone in their way. And then some. Y'all ready to get into it? Y'all know what time it is. Let's get it. This week's case involves DeRoy Niles, victim, Millie Niles, victim, Mary Jones, surviving victim, Elizabeth Niles, victim, DeAndre Riley, Jeremy's cousin and kind of an unknown accomplice. Well, more so witness. Regina Hayes, Jeremy's friend and also kind of accomplice slash witness. And the infamous murderers of the week, Ashley Jones and Jeremy Hart. Ashley Jones was born in Birmingham, Alabama in 1985 to Eugene Jones and Carmia Niles, who later became Carmia Jones once the two tied the knot. Now, from day one, Ashley wasn't brought into, some peaceful environment. Like the household was straight up toxic. I'm talking about dysfunctional with a capital D. Neither her mom nor her dad could keep a steady income. Like her dad was like a barber, but no actual, job where the money was just steady. And they were constantly stressing over money, living in a part of Birmingham where, the hood is heavy, crime is just on a rampant, it's just a regular Tuesday for them kind of thing. And y'all know how that goes, man. Like when the money is tight, tempers get short. And speaking of tempers, Ashley's dad, Eugene. All right, so okay, first off, bruh stood about 6 feet tall. Like I said, he about 220. He a big dude. And like I told y'all before, he worked as a barber, but he was known for being like incredibly temperamental. Like the streets was talking about everybody in that house pissed him off just by breathing, which means that everybody in that motherfucker felt his wrath. Well, what you mean by that? I mean, Ashley's parents were batshit crazy. Like when Ashley is just 3 years old. Okay, 3 years old, y'all. Think about that. A toddler barely learning to talk, just now learned how to walk, all of the little things. That's the cutesy phase where everything they do is so funny and so cute and so adorable. So at 3 years old, Ashley's mama tries to hand her a knife and tells her, baby, go over there and stab daddy for mommy, okay? Like, what the fuck? Who does that? Why would you ask your 3-year-old daughter to do some crazy shit like that? And Carmia's like, well, if the police see Eugene stabbed, they gonna think Ashley did it by accident. I mean, they ain't gonna charge her, but at least I'll scare the nigga. Like, bitch, you gonna scare your child. The fuck? That is out of bounds. Why are you trying to use your baby as a hitman? Like, keep that drama between y'all. See, that's what I mean by batshit crazy, y'all. Like, dead ass. And besides, what 3-year-old do you know that actually has enough force and power behind a little body to do some real damage? Like, clearly, mama didn't think that one through. But luckily, Ashley is only 3 years old and she's daddy's little girl anyway. So she was very much like, no, mommy, I don't want to hurt daddy. Like, she's getting all the attention from her daddy, both good and bad, but, she's still daddy's little girl. At least until the next year when her little sister Mary Elizabeth Jones, named after their grandmother, Mary Elizabeth Niles. And one kid in the house is one thing, but a toddler and a baby? Yikes on bikes. So, court documents show that on Valentine's Day of 1991, Carmia claims that Eugene went on a rampage, gave her a black eye, and beat one of the kids upside the head with the back of a TV remote control. Like, the hell? That sounds crazy, right? But Eugene is like, "Nah, you ain't about to put that on me, Ricky Bobby." He tells the judge that Carmia is a liar, she's a habitual drug user, hanging out with some questionable people, and says that she's just accident prone. Like, he actually said she hangs out with unsavory people. Like, he legit said, "She just be hanging around unsavory people, Your Honor." Why do I feel like he went and looked that word up in the thesaurus or something like that? But, be that as it may, he said it. And the courts was just like, "Man, fuck, here these fools go again." Like, they tired of looking at them. But by the time that Ashley is 6 years old, Carmia and Eugene, they decided, "You know what? Fuck it. Let's just get a divorce." Finally. The judge gives custody of the girls to Carmia and orders Eugene to pay a grand total of $3.65 a month. Like, why the fuck would you even make that an order? It probably cost more to print the order than the actual child support. Like, be for real. What is this? This sounds like one of them "In the Arms of the Angels" commercials, the "In the arm of the angel." Like, are you feeding your kid for, like, a few pennies a day? Like, I'm so curious because the judge literally felt like $3 like, I wouldn't even say that out loud. Like, I would have just been like, "Okay, no child support," because how is $3.65 gonna take care of not 1, but 2 children? So, clearly Carmia is struggling to take care of the girls. And I mean, understandable given the support that she's getting from her ex. I'm hoping that he actually gave more than that. Like, if that nigga actually went off of $3.65 a month, he needs his head cracked. But anyway. So, of course, she starts spiraling. She ends up popping off on her sister one day because they getting into it, and she attacks her. This is her sister, Millie. Okay, this is the baby of the family. It got to the point that Millie pressed charges on her for leaving bruises on her leg and her knee. And baby Millie was old school. She has some numbers that she could call. Like, if you fuck with her, like, she was one of those, don't make me call Pookie and Ray Ray, and then they gonna come fuck you up. She was that kind of a person. And, I know I know that's wrong to say this, but I mean, shit, if you ain't got the hands, you can damn sure use them to call somebody. I ain't mad at you. Like, she one of them, I can touch you without putting my hands on you. And I respect that. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, Daddy Eugene started getting on her about why she wouldn't let him see his girls. And he's like, girl, I paid $3.65 a month. He was like, I paid $3.65 a month. You better let me see my girls. I'm sorry, I'm being petty, y'all. Like, I'm still floored by that. Why would they think that that's really doing something? But, he's trying to see his babies, so he takes her to court saying he wants full custody. All right now, big fella. Your record ain't squeaky clean now. But, he goes to the courts, he's asking for custody, and it's like the ultimate tit for tat kind of thing going on with the two of them. Like, honestly, I thought me and my kids' dad be beefing. Ooh, shit. My shit be legitimate concern when it comes to certain things, but this a new level. But when he files, tell me why Carmia turns around and goes and files charges for child abuse. She said that Eugene threw Ashley into a wall and broke her arm. Now, y'all know as soon as she did that, that the courts was like, "Oh, yeah, fam, you ain't getting your kids," and they gave them right on back to Carmia. But check the play, though. The minute that the courts let Carmia keep custody, she drops the abuse charges against Eugene. So I'm like, was it real or was it just leverage for the courtroom? Y'all tell me, because it looks like she did that shit to keep them kids and make his ass suffer. But eventually, Carmia meets her a new man named Javed Attar, and he swept her off her feet. And apparently, according to her, brother is fine, fine. She happy as hell. Sis done upgraded. She getting some dick on the regular, okay? But baby, everything that glitters ain't gold because this nigga was gold plated. I'm talking about foul as hell. This fool started molesting Ashley. Like, damn, these kids can't catch a break. Mama clearly don't know how to pick them. Okay? First her daddy, now this new nigga. You fucking up your relationship with your kids because you keep attracting ain't shit niggas. Like, you gotta level up, do better. So at some point, somebody went to the courts and told them about what was going on and what was happening to little Ashley. And the courts was just like, all right, Carmia, now you had every opportunity to take care of these girls. Clearly, you want to keep hurting these babies. Clearly, you keep letting this man hurt your baby and molest your baby. So I'm sorry, but the girls will need to go live with their father. And honestly, I'm thinking, hey, judge,
No, you done fucked up, right? No, 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 no. You know you done fucked up, right?
let me tell you, Eugene's house wasn't no sanctuary either. He just got them before the courts really knew what was going on. Like, I mean, he's drinking, he doing cocaina, he keeping unsavory people around the kids. Y'all see what I did there? Okay, I'm sorry. It's not a laughing matter. I'm sorry. But, most people who were close to the situation agree that, some form of severe mistreatment was definitely going down while she lived under his roof. And this is where the wheels completely come off the wagon, y'all. Like, witnesses and rumors from that time frame state that after she was living with her dad for a while, Ashley had to be institutionalized. Like, she's entering the ninth grade and she's completely unable to adjust. Like, she's walking down the school hallways, laughing out loud to herself, holding conversations with people who aren't there. She's trying to figure out how to stop the emotional agony inside of her mind. And she decides to kill the internal pain by creating physical pain on herself. Like, she literally starts cutting herself. And to make matters worse, she realizes that street drugs and unprescribed prescription pills are incredibly easy for her to secure. Like, she's literally just going around stealing stuff, taking people's pills. So here she is, a literal child, 12, 13 years old, out here consistently popping heavy pills just to numb her reality. Then in 1998, a wild rumor started circulating in the neighborhood that Ashley actually tried to stab her mama and her daddy. And at this time, her mama Carmia is 8 months pregnant with a new baby by her new husband. The nigga that she decided to stay with after he was caught sexually abusing Ashley. Yeah. Now, some people say she lunged at both of them. Some say she just caught the mama. Others say it was just the dad. But the bottom line is that the neighborhood knew that that was, that somebody almost got sliced open at the hands of this 13-year-old little girl. Like, the parents didn't, for whatever reason, the parents didn't press formal charges, but, streets was talking anyway. And I mean, you better than me, cause ain't no way your ass is going to jail, little Chucky, cause the fuck I look like being pregnant and you trying to take me out. Although, I will say, to an extent, I understand because this is the woman that is letting her husband sexually abuse her child. But, clearly that ain't the way to handle it. I probably would have, gotten her therapy. Me being me, that nigga wouldn't be breathing. You sexually assault my baby, you molest my baby, you are done. They gonna be talking to your ass through a fucking Ouija board or looking down at the pits of hell where you should be at that point in time. But that's just me. Okay. So, at the end of the day, she should have just left his ass and let his ass rot in prison and been there for her baby, but that's a different topic for another day. So, like I said, every day she's dealing with these thoughts and her school psychiatrist is concerned and she starts doing some testing and she diagnoses her as severely depressed. So, because of everything, the family court steps in and they decide to remove both Ashley and her little sister Mary and make them move in with their grandparents, DeRoy and Mary Now's. Okay. Now, y'all, let's talk about the grandparents because these folks were the absolute pillars of the community. These were Carmia's parents. Her father, DeRoy Niles, was born in Tuscaloosa, Alabama back in 1922. Now, he met and fell in love with Mary Rose Niles. He married Mary Rose on April 3rd, 1948. Together, they built a beautiful life. They had one son, DeRoy Jr., and whew, seven daughters: Vala, Sharisa, Carmia, which is Ashley and Mary's mama, JD, Shawnice, Christine, and Millie Rose. 8 kids, God almighty. Oh shit, y'all. Yeah, that's how they did it back in the day. Cause baby, my uterus would be jumping out the window, jumping off a bridge onto a thumbtack that's rusted, getting gangrene. Cause ain't no way in fuck I'm popping. Baby, no, no, y'all can have that Kiki Wyatt shit. But anyway, so DeRoy worked hard for decades as a steel worker at Akipco. It was ACIPCO. I don't know how it's pronounced, but yeah, that's what it was. So he worked there until he retired. And his neighbors spoke so highly of him. They said that he always spoke from a kind Christian heart. He gave the best advice and he lived by the golden rule. He loved hosting big family barbecues at his spot on Campbell Lane. He had the house, the family, the retirement checks were coming in. Folks even said that he had a maid at one point. He was coasting, living the good life that he earned, rightfully so. And Grandma Mary Rose, she was a living angel. She was a highly educated lady from her time. She got an associate's degree from Stillman College and had almost finished her bachelor's at Alabama State. She was the Sunday school superintendent at Hayes Chapel Baptist Church for 22 years, and she led the Missionary Society. Now, unfortunately, by 1999, when Ashley and Mary had come to live with them, Grandma Mary's health was declining, and it kind of limited her mobility a bit, but she was still very much the matriarch. She took care of her family, so much so that one of her daughters, 30-year-old Millie Niles, the baby of the seven daughters, she still lived there. So, in essence, this house is one of pure structure, of faith and love until Ashley and Mary got there. Now, little Mary wasn't bad at all. Like, she's all but 10 years old, but that damn Ashley, whoo, child, she brought chaos and destruction. And it clashed with her grandparents because, they're holier than thou. They're very religious. They pray all day, every day. And Ashley is like, nah, I'm cool on that. She not really feeling it. She wanted something different. She wanted Jeremy. Yes, that chaos and calamity came in the form of a teenage kickback in the neighborhood. So, one night Ashley decides to go out. She's trying to get away from the Bible study and all of that and go hang out with kids her own age. And while she's out, she meets this boy that she thinks is just oh so fine. And his name is Jeremy Raquel Hart. Now, he was a little bit older than her. He was 16. And at the time, she's still a young 14. Now, Jeremy was one of them young niggas that just thought he knew everything. He had a 1-year-old baby, and he claimed to be out on them streets heavy. Like, he just knew he was grown. Boy, please. Okay. So the two of them meet at this little kickback, and Ashley sees him, and she's thinking, oh, he cute or whatever. Let me go holler at him. And the two start talking and they click instantly. Ashley is feeling him. He's got a car. He's older. She's liking all of it, baby. She may as well be in love. They start skipping school. They riding around together, completely tuned into each other, which is, of course, pissing, the grandparents off because she's already, on the wrong path. And this is just going even worse. So Ashley's convinced that this is true love. The only person that's ever really truly cared about her is Jeremy. But Granddaddy DeRoy sees right through it. He shuts it down real quick. The devil is a lie. That boy won't be around my house. Now, young lady, you got a Jezebel spirit. You need to lean on the Lord, not on this boy. Y'all know them old schools don't play. I wonder if they were like that with Carmia when she started kicking it with Eugene. Because clearly that child didn't listen. But anywho, Ashley wasn't trying to hear none of it. Like, y'all know how teenagers get when you try to pull them away from their first love. It only makes them want to defy you more. They only want to be with that person more. And of course, Ashley is telling Jeremy, baby, my grandparents don't think we should be together. They said you too bad for me. And Jeremy, he hyping her up. He starts whispering in her ear, baby, let's just run away together. Just me and you against the world, boo. You know I love you, girl. It's going to be just me and you and my seed. Okay, stepmama at 14. Yeah, making smart life decisions there, girly. But, Ashley is like, you know what, baby? Fuck the world. Fuck everybody else. I'll get rid of anyone who stands between us. I'm not letting you go. And that right there, mobbers, is where the romance turns into a death warrant. Is Jeremy and Ashley against the world? They start plotting and planning and planning and plotting, and they decide they gonna kill Ashley's entire family. Fuck running away, fuck sneaking around. Nope, let's just kill them all. Now, even though DeRoy is a deacon, he's also a man, and a protective man at that, because he got a family to take care of. Shit, he got one son and seven daughters. Now, granted, they all not, living in the household at this point, but at one point they were, so he got a few guns laying around the house. So Ashley and Jeremy come up with a plan. Ashley steals her grandfather's 38 Colt Cobra revolver and gives it to Jeremy, and they spend a few days mapping out their little perfect plan down to the last detail, or so they think. What was the plan? Not only were they going to kill everyone in the house, but they were going to rob them of their money, set the house on fire to burn the evidence, and escape in Ashley's granddaddy's Cadillac. So Ashley starts doing what she needs to do. She's already stolen one of her granddaddy's guns. Now she starts mixing up homemade napalm concoctions, which is lighter fluid, nail polish remover, rubbing alcohol, all flammable things. Baby, she walked around the house grabbing anything with a flammable warning on it. Then she took a shit ton of kitchen knives and an ice pick and hid them for when she needed them. So they're ready to put, their plan into action. Sunday night, August 29th, 1999. The house at 4600 Campbell Lane is completely quiet. It's around 11 o'clock at night. Grandma Mary, Aunt Millie, and 10-year-old Mary Jones have all gone upstairs to go to sleep. Now, Granddaddy DeRoy is downstairs in the den watching TV with Ashley, but he's starting to nod off. And Ashley is sitting there acting like she's into the TV show, but really, she's watching him, waiting for him to fall asleep. She goes and she picks up the house phone and she calls Jeremy and she tells him, "Hey, baby, you can come on. Everybody's asleep. It's time." Psst. Hey, mobbers, listen close, okay? The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast, is stepping out from behind the studio mic and onto the stage for the 3-year anniversary live show. Get ready for an evening packed with the gripping storytelling you love, exclusive case discussions, and plenty of surprises. And did I mention that admission is 100% free? That's right, y'all. Free 99. Okay. I'm talking about drinks available for purchase at the venue, merch where you can grab exclusive anniversary gear and podcast favorites before they sell out. And plus, it's going to be a whole vibe, a room full of fellow true crime fans, deep dives, and a night to remember. Now, while tickets are entirely free, registration is required for admission. So secure yours now before they're gone. And you didn't hear it from me, but limited VIP tickets are available. Buy yours for just $25 and you'll get exclusive merch plus a private meet and greet with yours truly. Doors open at 6:30 p.m., so grab a drink, grab your seat, and let's toast to 3 years of the Infamous Ones. See you there. So, a few minutes later, around 11:15 in the evening, Jeremy shows up. And he's got a red bandana tied over his face so that, nobody can really recognize him, which really don't do shit, but okay. And he's got the 38 Colt Cobra that Ashley gave him that she stole from her grandfather. So he walks into the den and he points the gun right at DeRoy, who is asleep, 76 years old. Fires twice, hits him right in the face. Not a moment of hesitation, nothing. Now, even though he's been shot in the face, DeRoy is not dead. So, he managed to stumble out of his chair while actively bleeding and stumbles into the kitchen before he collapses on the floor. So, Ashley and Jeremy, they leave him there thinking, okay, hey, he's dead, he's done for. And they head upstairs to the bedrooms. The first room they go to is Millie's room. Now, remember, she's the baby girl of DeRoy and Grandma Mary's kids and still lives at home. So they go into her room, and Jeremy points the gun at her. She's sleeping also, shoots her 3 times, but she's still breathing. Yo, what kind of fucking bullets are they using? Because Jeremy ain't killing nobody. Like, damn. So he just looks at Ashley and he tells her, "You finished the job." Now, Ashley don't have a gun. Common sense would have been to grab one of her grandfather's other guns since he's down in the kitchen bleeding out, but she doesn't do that. Instead, she grabs a heavy portable electric heater from the floor and starts bashing her aunt upside the head with it over and over, knocking her out. Mind you, this woman has already been shot 3 times. So at this point, it's just fucking overkill. But then she pulls out a kitchen knife and stabs her aunt in the chest 9 times and throws the electric heaters on top of her body and tries to light her on fucking fire. Like, talk about doing the absolute fucking most. This woman is dead and you do all this extra shit? Like, I guess. So, she did say she was going to burn everybody. All the while this is going on, Grandma Mary done woke up. Now she's hearing all this noise and she's confused because what the heck is going on in my house? Why y'all making all this noise? So she gets up and she starts heading towards the noise. Now she can't really move as good as she used to, so it's taking her a minute. But her calling out, asking what's going on, done got Jeremy and Ashley's attention, and they take off in the direction of where they hear her. And they run right smack dab into each other. And Grandma is looking at Jeremy, and even though he's masked up, Grandma know exactly who that is. She even calls his name. She said, "Jeremy, child, is that you?" And he know he caught, so he raises the gun and shoots Mary in the shoulder. And she's hurt but far from dead. So he tries to shoot her again. No more bullets. I guess Ashley probably should have stole some extra bullets too, but she didn't. So Jeremy is telling Ashley, "Don't worry about it. She gonna bleed her ass out. Let's just go." And they leave Mary on the floor. And the two of them start making their way downstairs because they need to get some more weapons. And to their surprise, when they get downstairs, DeRoy is still alive. He laid out, but he's still holding on. And Jeremy is pissed. So he starts punching him and hitting him, everything, just grabbing shit, knocking him. And he's screaming at him, "Tell me where the money is. Where the fuck is the money?" And DeRoy is trying to talk through all of the beating and bleeding, and he manages to tell the man, the money's under the mattress in his bedroom. So Jeremy runs up, he grabs $300 from under the mattress, comes back down, takes a knife, and stabs the old man in the throat, cutting it open. Then both Ashley and Jeremy just start getting, going to town on her grandfather, stabbing him repeatedly, leaving a knife stuck into his spine. And to make sure that he's dead this time, Ashley grabs one of those cocktails that she made, she pours it on him, and sets him on fire. I'm so tired of saying this. You cannot just set a person on fire like that. This ain't no crematorium, bitch. You can try it, but it ain't gonna work. And with all of that stuff that she poured on him, it burns off quick. And DeRoy is still alive. He's shot twice in the face, stabbed in the neck, beaten, knife literally in his spine, and now set on fire. And he is still alive, still breathing. And his baby, his wife Mary, she's slowly but surely making her way down them stairs to get to her husband. Like she can hear his crying and she know he in pain. And when she gets down there and she sees him in pain, she is literally crawling to her man. Like if this ain't love, she is pleading with him, "DeRoy, please don't leave me, baby. Hold on, I'm coming." Jeremy got to be the most annoyed because why is nobody in this house fucking dying? Like, I shot you, girl. Now both y'all want to be breathing? Why y'all don't just die? Damn. Now he angry. So while Mary is cradling her dying husband, Jeremy pins her down and Ashley starts stabbing her grandmother in the back, the shoulder, her breast, the face, all with that ice pick. Then she pours lighter fluid all over her grandmother and sets her on fire too. And Jeremy is actively cheering her on, yelling, "Pour more on her, pour more." And right in the middle of this absolute nightmare, 10-year-old Mary Jones peeps around the kitchen corner. She sees her sister Ashley covered in blood, burning their grandparents alive. Little Mary is petrified. She screams and bolts for the door, but Jeremy catches her and puts the empty pistol to her head and says, "This is how you gonna fucking die." First of all, bruh, you know damn well ain't no bullets in that damn thing. But, Ashley's excited because she can make her sister suffer. So she jumps in and she's like, "Nah, nah, let me do it. I got it." So she takes one of the butcher knives, lunges at her 10-year-old sister, and stabs her 14 times. Little Mary collapses and it's so heartbreaking. Ashley had punctured her lung, and this baby is suffocating on her own blood. Now, here's where little Mary gets smart. Despite being stabbed repeatedly and being in excruciating pain, little Mary plays dead. Like she stopped moving and lay there getting stabbed over and over until Jeremy and Ashley thought that they were successful in killing her. So Ashley and Jeremy have killed everybody in the house, or so they think. Ashley and Jeremy start dousing everything that they can in the cocktails that Ashley made and light it on fire. The house is going up quick, and they take the money that Jeremy grabbed from under the mattress and the keys to DeRoy's Cadillac, and they peace out. But little Mary ain't dead. She's very much alive. She's hurt. She's weak, and she's clinging to life, but she's alive. And she sees the house is on fire, and she goes and she sees that her grandmother Mary is still alive, holding her husband, wanting him to open his eyes, begging him to make it. And little Mary is grabbing on her grandmother. "Grandma, we gotta go. Come on, please, we gotta go." Now, Ashley and Jeremy have left in her grandfather's old school green Cadillac. Jeremy tells Ashley that they're gonna go pick up his homegirl, Regina Hayes. She's like 21 years old, so how the hell she's friends with a 16-year-old? I don't know. But they go and pick her up because they need her help. They too young to get a hotel room on their own, and they got blood all over them. So they're gonna be, they're gonna catch attention. They can't stay at Ashley's house. She just torched it, and they can't go to Jeremy's house. So Jeremy tells Regina, "Hey, can you get us a hotel room? We'll give you $200." Now, they ain't staying at no embassy or no Hilton Garden or nothing like that. They at some little sleazy, little cheap spot. So why y'all paying this girl $200 to rent the room? That's just stupid. But of course, Regina says yes. She does them one better. She gets them a room, and then she stops and she gets them some beer for them to drink on too. Now, they gonna have a good little party, baby. So Jeremy hits his cousin DeAndre Riley up and tells him, "Say fam, pull up on us. We having a little kickback at the hotel." And DeAndre is like, "All right, cool." So they all get to the room and they start drinking and partying and having fun. And Jeremy and Ashley are finally free. They can be together and no one can stop them. Now, this idiot Jeremy starts bragging to his cousin while he's drinking these little beers. "Yeah, my nigga, we just caught a body, right? Yeah, man, we did the perfect crime. Killed a whole family, set it on fire." Again, this is where I start to think,
No, you done fucked up, right? No, 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 no. You know you done fucked up, right?
"'Cause nigga, shut the fuck up. Why are you running your mouth minutes after you did a damn crime? Yo ass damn sure ain't gonna make it in interrogation. That just don't make no sense. The key to getting away with a crime is to shut up, not run your mouth to everybody." So, of course, while Jeremy is running his mouth, Lil Mary is back at the house fighting for her life. She's stabbed 14 times and struggling to breathe with a punctured lung, trying to get her and her grandmother out of the house. It took her a while, but she finally gets them out where, while Millie and DeRoy, they're just left to burn inside. I mean, this is a little girl. She can only do but so much. She's walking with her grandmother down the street slowly. And remember, it's the middle of the night, so it's dark. And both Grandma Mary and Little Mary, they're covered in blood. They're walking, and a truck happens to be passing by and sees them. And so they stop, and Little Mary tells them, "Please help. My sister just tried to kill all of us. My grandpa and my aunt are dead. Please help us." Like, it looks like a scene out of a horror movie. But, the driver puts them in their truck and they drive to a gas station that's close by and call 911. God bless them because they didn't have cell phones back then. I mean, well, they did, but not as accessible as they are now. So they wait for the first responders to get there, and immediately the ambulance rushes the two of them to the hospital. Firefighters get there and they head to the Niles resident. And, the cops is right there with them. And the firefighters put out the blaze and they find DeRoy and Millie dead on the scene. Grandma Mary and Little Mary, they're at the hospital where Grandma Mary is put into a medically induced coma for 6 weeks with burns covering 35% of her body, facing endless skin grafts. And Little Mary, she's treated for her lung and stitched up. And by the grace of God, she survives. So the detectives get there and they ask Little Mary, "Sweetheart, can you tell us who did this?" And she nods slowly, tears in her eyes. And she says, "It was my sister Ashley and her boyfriend Jeremy." Let me tell you something. This baby, little Mary, she is meant for greatness. If this wasn't a praying family, God had a hedge of protection around her and her grandmother. This baby was stabbed, played dead, helped her grandmother out of a burning house, her immobile grandmother who could barely move, who also was shot and had bruising and stab wounds and all of that, helped her grandmother out of a burning house and told the cops exactly who did it. Look at God. Won't he do it? So the police have this information and they put out a bolo for the green Cadillac DeVille. A green Cadillac. First of all, Cadillacs in itself, you see that's rare. But a green Cadillac, granted this is 1999, but still, y'all gonna get caught in no time, dumbasses. So it just so happens that the police are riding around and they pass by this questionable hotel. And what do they see? A green Cadillac DeVille. So they stop and park and they watch and they wait and they wait and they watch to see who's going to come out of this Birmingham hotel. Now, Jeremy and his people are inside the hotel when they had a TV on. News comes on, and a breaking story is that there's a big house fire at Ashley's house. And she sees it, and then she hears two survivors. Ashley about pisses herself. And she's like, Jeremy, baby, they said it was two survivors. Oh, shit. And Jeremy, he's all, baby, we good. They ain't gonna find us. Shit, we cool. He's trying to play it cool, even though he's shaking like Autumn Night on the pole her first night at the paint. And they have no idea that the police are outside watching their room and that car. They've already checked with the hotel clerk who gave the police Regina's description and what room the green Cadillac belongs to. And that Monday morning around 8:30ish, police bust into the room and they arrest Ashley and Jeremy. Neither one of them put up a fight. I mean, you really couldn't because you got the evidence with you, the blood-stained clothes, the red bandana, and the empty beer bottles. You didn't even try to get rid of anything. At the very least, throw it away. Why you ain't burn it like you did the house, stupid? So they get carried off to the precinct where the cops start digging in and asking questions. And they're like, tell us what you did. What happened last night? The crazy shit was there were no tears, no fear, no emotion, no nothing. Ashley was talking to the detectives like she was on a job interview, just straight face, straight facts. Ashley laid it out every time they asked her a question. Yeah, we shot Millie. She was still breathing, so I hit her with the heater and stabbed her in the heart. Then we stabbed Granddaddy. He wouldn't die, so we set him on fire. Cold blooded. The coldness was just unreal, y'all. Then they get ready to take her to her cell because y'all know they done charged her ass at this point. And she has the nerve, the negroidial gall to say, hold up, y'all, before y'all take me, can I tell Jeremy I love him one last time? Bitch! You tried it. And the investigator is like, you know what? This bitch is crazy. He definitely did not honor her request, but, instead he took her goofy ass right onto her cell. And because they were under 16, the death penalty is off the table because, you can't give the death penalty if you're under 18. But they were both tried as adults, which meant they were both facing life without parole. So Ashley got a defense lawyer, Joe Morgan III, and they get ready for trial. Now, her attorney tried to go for the not guilty by reason of mental defect. He stated it was based on her history of sexual abuse by her stepdad, Javed, and the severe depression that she dealt with through her childhood. But the prosecutor for the trial was Laura Posting, and she was not about the bullshit. She wanted to make sure that Ashley was tried and didn't just skate. She said it outright to the jury. This girl is a psychopath. Look at her. She's sitting here cool as a cucumber, looking at crime scene photos of her granddaddy's charred body. She talked about how Ashley went partying with her granddaddy's blood on her socks and her grandma's blood on her shirt. By the time of the trial, which started February 26, 2001, Grandma Mary had been taken out of her coma. She was put on the stand to testify about what Ashley did, and she did just that. She told the courts exactly what happened that night. But it was what she did after she got off the stand that just pulled at everyone's heartstrings. Y'all, after she got off the stand, she walked over to the defense table, hugged Ashley, and said, you know I love you, baby. She even begged the judge, don't send her away forever. Give her 10 years so she can get help for her nerves, have a family, and live a life. Like, man, that is the ultimate Christian forgiveness. Your granddaughter stabbed you with an ice pick and lit you on fire, and you are begging for her freedom? Whew, you better than me, honey. I mean, of course, the courts took that into consideration, but the jury wasn't as forgiving as Grandma Mary. Now, the trial lasted about a week. Little Mary also testified. And on March 2nd, 2001, the jury is excused to deliberate. It took them 30 minutes. And they walked back into that courtroom and said, we, the jury, find Ashley Jones guilty. She was found guilty on 2 charges of first-degree murder and 2 charges of attempted first-degree murder. Only then did that child actually start crying. Her father, Eugene, was there, and he held her while she cried, and she was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole. Yes, you heard me, with the possibility of parole. Oh, but then they had Jeremy's trial. Child, Jeremy's trial started June 4th, 2001, and it was pure chaos. So during a plea deal discussion, Jeremy started screaming at his lawyers and the prosecutors. I'm tired of y'all asking me to cop to something I ain't do. I ain't motherfucking do it. Nigga, your girlfriend already said that y'all did. Grandma Mary said that you shot her. She looked dead at you. Little Mary testified that you did it. Told the police. How? How in the fuck can you not own up? Your own girl told everybody you did it. Duh. So the bailiff couldn't wait to get his hands on Jeremy. Now this is where shit gets funny. So the bailiff comes over there and he puts him in cuffs and like he's wrestling with him and he puts him in cuffs and he's like, sit down, boy. Oh, baby, Jeremy clapped back on his ass. He was in there talking about, don't call me boy. Take off these motherfucking cuffs and call me boy again. What the fuck you gonna do? Whoop your ass, nigga. That's what the fuck he gonna do. The fuck? But at the trial, it didn't really help him because his own cousin, DeAndre, and the older homegirl, Regina, they took to the stand along with Ashley, Grandma Mary, and Little Mary and blew his whole alibi to pieces. They all testified against him on what went down. Now, his trial lasted for about a week and a half, and then on June 13th, 2001, the jury once again was excused to deliberate. And just like with Ashley, he was found guilty. He came back for sentencing, and I guess at this point he realized what he had done. So he went to talk to his mom, and he made it clear he didn't want her begging for his leniency. He told her, I'm not having my family begging no white people. I'll play the hand that I'm dealt. Okay. So he stands before the court, and the judge told him the death penalty was too easy for him and handed him life without the possibility of parole for 2 counts of first degree murder and 2 counts of attempted first degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Now, Ashley Jones was sentenced on April 13th, 2001. Because of the fact that she was 14 at the time of the murders and due to minors not being able to be given the death penalty, again, she didn't get life without parole. She was given life with the possibility of parole. And as we sit here today in 2026, she has served 26 years of her life sentence at the Montgomery Women's Facility. Her official paperwork says that she will finally be eligible for parole hearing December 1st, 2029. And while locked up, she got her GED and she finished several rehab programs. Meanwhile, Jeremy Raquel Hart is sitting inside the William E. Donaldson Correctional Facility. He was sentenced on August 17th, 2001 to life without the possibility of parole on his 2 counts of capital murder. He's also served 26 years, but for him, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. He's finishing his days behind those walls. Now, Grandma Mary Rose Niles lived to be 89 years old, and she passed away December 19th, 2015. And little sister Mary, who survived those 14 stab wounds, she grew up and stated later in life that she ultimately blames Jeremy for everything that happened. She blames Jeremy and believes that he took a sweet, broken 14-year-old girl and manipulated her into a cold blooded killer. Oof, man, what a tragedy all around. A beautiful family wiped out from the inside. But that is the heavy, heartbreaking story of Ashley Jones and Jeremy Hart. And now it is time for Fair or Foul, where we look at the justice system to determine.
What's the reason?
Girl, you stabbed your sister several times to the point that she had to play dead. She's not the one that tried to stop you from seeing Jeremy. Then you literally beat your aunt with heaters and set her on fire after your boyfriend shot her while she was asleep. She wasn't the one that tried to stop you from seeing Jeremy either. She was innocent and sleeping in her bed, minding her black ass business. The fact that you could think of things so crazy and so sinister speaks volumes as to your mindset. I don't think Ashley was crazy. I don't feel like she was criminally insane or whatever you wanna call it. Now, yes, I do empathize with her for the fact that she did have what occurred to her when she was younger. But at 14 years old, you still have the choice to do right and wrong, and you chose to do wrong. You had the opportunity to start anew with your grandparents. They weren't like your parents. They were trying to give you genuine love, to give you stability. You know the difference between right and wrong. I had similar, if not worse, background, but I ain't killed nobody. I chose to do right. You chose to do wrong. And then I guess for me, I'm thinking, what was your plan? Because y'all stole $300 and the keys to a very noticeable car. You gave his homegirl $200. How are you going to survive after that? Where were y'all going to go? Because you burned the house down. You killed everybody. And even then, when you saw that there were survivors, there was no thought process to say, hey, you know what, baby, let me hurry up and get the hell up out of town or we need to dip because soon they going to identify us. You knew that your grandmother called him by name. You knew that 2 people survived. Whether it had been, you didn't know who survived, but you knew at least 2 people survived that could say it was you. Were y'all planning on going to your mother's or to your father's? Like, what was the killing spree going was the killing spree gonna continue? There were too many unanswered questions. You literally had no other solution. The only thing you could think of was to kill everybody because they didn't want y'all to be together. That was your first thought. That was stupid. Sneak around. Shit, eventually you're gonna get old enough to where you either stay together or you meet somebody else. And 9 times out of 10, at 14 years old, you gonna meet somebody the fuck else. But to go as far as planning an entire murder like that, it's insane. Getting life with a possibility of parole is a stretch for me. I really feel like that's unfair, and I do hope that when she's up for parole that her sister comes to speak. Like, you had so many people that loved you. When I watched the video of her hugging her father, there was no expression. She wasn't upset. She cried when she was found guilty, yes, but there was no nothing. No look of remorse anywhere. And yes, since then she's gotten her GED, she's been in all of these rehab programs, so I am genuinely hoping that this girl is getting her life together on the inside because you had so many people that loved you. Even after everything that you did, your grandmother still sat there and begged that judge to give you a lighter sentence so that you could correct yourself. I mean, the judge basically ignored it, but it shows that she loved your trifling ass to her dying days. And I appreciate the life without possibility of, or I appreciate the life with possibility of parole. And I feel like they did that because of what you experienced. So, yes, I can understand why they gave leniency on that. But when that day that you are up for parole comes, I'm really hoping that they look at your history and your past, and that if you are not sincere, that your ass stays in there. And I'm hoping that if that you're not just doing all of this rehab stuff so you can hurry up and get out and then turn around and do some same fuck shit. Cause what you did to your sister, what you did to your grandparents, what you did to your aunt, I really hope that you get your shit together. Cause if not, keep your motherfucking psychotic ass in there. Cause I honestly feel like it was a psychopath in the making. And then you got Jeremy. Now, obviously, he's just as guilty, but I feel like honestly, Jeremy was the one that put the battery pack in Ashley's back, and she just went full on rogue because she was the one that was like, "Yeah, let's kill him," and he just kind of went with it. Yes, he did shoot Grandpa DeRoy in the face twice, and then turned around and shot the grandmother and laid several bullets into Millie, who ain't do nothing. But I feel like Ashley wanted to more so kill her family than Jeremy did. Yes, he initiated everything and it was his idea and he was saying that, nothing was gonna keep them apart and all of that. And oh baby, we gonna be together. Don't worry about it, all of that shit. But at the same time, it kind of seems like to me, Ashley was more so the aggressor than anything. Fact of the matter is, he fucked up big time because at 16, you definitely know right from wrong. At 16, you know the consequences of your decisions. The same way that you decided to fuck without a condom, you ended up with a kid. The same way that you decided to plot to murder, you got caught. You was running your motherfucking mouth to your cousin, and then he turned around and testified on your ass. Then I'm still trying to understand why you had a friend that was 21 and you're 16. Like that dynamic don't make sense at all to me. You ain't got no friends your own age. But what baffles me is, Jeremy, you fucking got $300 from under that mattress, and then you gave more than half to your homegirl to get a hotel room for you because you were too young to get one yourself, because you were too stupid to change clothes. What was y'all's end game? If you was planning on stealing, fucking take the car to a chop shop or some shit. You had a car already. Or steal more stuff in the house to sell. Take the bank cards. Take what you could off the bank cards. Set the house on fire, and y'all ain't got nowhere to go. You can't take Ashley to your house, so what was the game plan supposed to be? Geramie getting life without the possibility of parole is perfect. And the judge was right. The death penalty is too good for you. And I honestly hate it for his child because his child won't get the opportunity to have their father in their life. And now multiple families are at a loss. Jeremy's child is losing their father, or rather lost their father. Ashley's mama and daddy don't have her, and she damn sure don't have them. Now, Ashley's mom don't have her family. She ain't got her mama and daddy. Eugene is left to do whatever. I hope and pray that little Mary didn't have to go back to either her mama or her daddy, because the fact of the matter is, her sister killed the only stable people that were in their lives. So I'm praying that, little Mary, who is now an adult, who is now, older and probably has a family of her own, I'm hoping that, she came out on top. That is all for this week's episode of The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast. You can follow the show on the various streams on Instagram and TikTok at Infamous One Podcast. That's a number one, by the way, not spelled out, and you can leave a review there. On X, it's Infamous One Pod, where you can also leave a review. On Facebook, you can join the private discussion group, the Infamous Ones discussion group, but please be advised, if you don't answer the questions, you ain't getting in. That's simple. But once you get in, come on in and take a seat. Tell us where you're from and what you're sipping on. You can now subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Infamous Ones, and leave a review there as well. Saturday, October 10th, 2026, the Infamous Ones 3-year live anniversary show is happening in ATL. Tickets are available now. The event is free, but you have to register on Eventbrite. The space is limited, so you must register to attend. Right now, I think the tickets are like 1/3 gone. There are a few VIP tickets available at $25 each. If you have a VIP ticket, you get a free t-shirt and a private meet and greet with yours truly. And of course, Tipsy Sips will be serving up the drinks. Yes, drinks will be available for purchase. So click the link on the episode description, or you can click the link. It's pinned in the Facebook group, or you can search on Eventbrite. Be sure to follow the Black Box as new episodes drop at random. I hope y'all enjoyed the last episode, The Collinwood Boys. If you haven't listened, go listen now. Make sure that if you have advertisement that you want featured on the show, that you send an email to infamous1pod@gmail.com. That's INFAMOUSONEPOD. Advertisement starts at $30 and goes all the way up to $75. So make sure that you send an email. The show streams on multiple streaming services like Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and so on and so on. So please leave a review. It only takes a few seconds. The reviews matter. And now to the reviews. The first one comes from Spotify from Roxanne Lyseer, and it's on the Beneficiary Blues episode, which was the one about Makiva and how she she was killed by her husband, who thought he was the beneficiary and turned out he wasn't. It says, hands down, my favorite podcast. So happy you decided to keep uploading content. Keep up the good work. Oh, thank you, Roxanne. Roxanne. That was the first thing I thought of when I saw the name. But I definitely appreciate that. I'm over here smiling. Obviously, y'all can hear it in my voice. So thank you. Keep listening. The next review comes from Apple Podcasts, and it's a 5-star review from Jasmine Kiera, and it's captioned, I love you, Kay. It says, Kay, I love this show. When I tell you, I feel like our thought processes be identical. The way you tell the story, then let loose at the end with fair or foul sends my rocket to the moon. I've already said everything you say before we get to that part. Please don't give up doing this podcast. I know it gets hard, but it's people like me that listen, and no matter what we going through, you help take us to another world for 45 minutes to an hour. Thank you. Aw, thank you, doll. That really means a lot. Listen, when I get in a fair or foul, I am giving my opinion as raw as it comes, and it be real unfiltered. So, some appreciate it and some don't, but I definitely appreciate those that do. Y'all be tripping me out when y'all be going in on them comments, man. So thank you. Okay. Normally I only give 2 reviews, but I had an interesting 2-star review that I received. It came from Apple Podcasts from Simon Knitter, and it was captioned Facebook Auntie Politics. It says, Kay is a decent storyteller, but decided that her getting justice for the victims is fantasizing about the convicted getting violently raped in prison and is pro death penalty but is simultaneously heartbroken when an innocent person is put to death. She is unable to connect the two threads in her mind. She also spent an entire episode trying her best to justify Austin Metcalf's death and advocate for Carmelo Anthony's early release in spite of the evidence and wants him to experience no harm in the same prisons where she advocates for sexual assault. She has the same draconian politics with a progressive tint as your typical Facebook auntie, but it's low key dangerous to broadcast them on a whole platform. Okay, so the old me had some choice words for this person, but the new me says, one, thank you for listening. There were some grammatical errors there that kind of had me having to reread it a few times. But two, I don't think you understand the concept of fair or foul, sweetheart. That is a time when I give my opinion on what should happen and how a criminal could be handled. Keyword is my opinion for my show. I can be for the death penalty and against it because each case is different. Clearly, there are cases where a person absolutely deserves that $42 cocktail, and then there are those that don't. If a person kills multiple people for absolutely no reason or harms children in the worst way possible, you motherfucking right, they deserve the death penalty. Especially when the child is defenseless and relies on them to take care of them in cases that I've covered where a parent has just taken it too far and the child was defenseless, or when a person murders somebody for no reason because they were just rejected or because they got a divorce or because they cut them off in traffic or something like that, something that made absolutely no sense. Absolutely. You deserve that $42 cocktail. And yes, there are cases where innocent men go to prison and it's been proven after the fact, after they were put to death, that they were innocent. Or there are cases where individuals are innocent and or the crime doesn't match the punishment because somebody kills somebody in self-defense and they are given life without parole. Yes, in cases like those, I'm gonna say, hey, you know what? Yeah, this might be a little bit too harsh. But it's my opinion and my show, and I will never apologize for that. As to the Austin Metcalf Carmelo Anthony case, I don't know where you heard me justifying his death. I presented the facts from the court documents and the news articles. How's that justification? I don't know. Perhaps go back and listen to the episode again. Now, the sexual assault stuff in prison, that's just me cracking jokes because that's just, an age-old joke about prison. So excuse me for having a sense of humor. Okay. But anywho, if you want to support the show or if you're feeling the spirit, meaning that liquor that we've been sipping on, click the link at the bottom of the screen from whatever app that you're listening to this episode on and hit listener support to give. You can also donate via the Cash App at $infamous1pod. That's $INFAMOUSONEPOD. Donations go toward court documentations, interviews, all of that good stuff. And we have recently hit our mark. So promotion is coming. A social media content creator with a big following is going to be promoting the show. Yay! If you have a case that you want to hear more on that you feel has been ignored in the Black community, if you want to inquire about ad space, if you want to leave a review, send an email to infamousonepod@gmail.com. That's INFAMOUSONEPOD@gmail.com. And once again, people, please share, share, share. This podcast is growing by the day and it means the world. So keep sharing. Until then, y'all know what it is. I'm your girl Kay. Thank you for tuning in to the season 4 season finale. And I will see y'all next week with a new episode kicking off season 5, y'all. Stay mobbing, y'all. Peace.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast hosted by Kay. Be sure to like and comment on your favorite podcast platform and subscribe so that you never miss an episode.